Issues at hand on Family TV, enriching lives.
Thank you for joining us on Issues at Hand today. My name is Bruno Edgard, and we are very glad to start the week. And it is a very, very amazing time we are going to have together indeed. Now, Issues at Hand is a program where we tackle different issues that are happening in our society so that we can find solutions to these issues. And today's issue at hand is the industrial action that is being instituted by the local government workers union. And so we are going to talk about this in detail, and you're going to have the opportunity to send your comments and questions, and we shall tackle this issue together. But my guest today, of course, I can't tackle this issue alone. My guest today, who is going to tackle this issue with me, is Mr. Hassan Lwabayi, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Local Government Workers Union. You are very welcome on Issues at Hand. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you, sir, Mr. Edgard.
Feel free to send greetings anyone you'd like to send greetings to.
Okay, thank you,
before
sir,
we start the hot seat.
To Muhaire for inviting me on program Issues at Hand, Family TV. I'm privileged to given an opportunity to have a say on issues at hand, particularly on matters regarding issues affecting local government workers in regard to the industrial action that we intend to undertake this week. And I greet all the members of Uganda local government workers across the country, the leadership, friends, and everybody. I wish you a good day, a good week actually.
Fantastic. Now that the greetings are out of the way, let's get into the hot debate, the hot issue that's at hand today, and it is the industrial action by the Uganda Local Government Workers Union. And of course, of recent, we have seen a lot of strikes from government employees. The allied health professionals went on strike. The arts teachers are currently on strike led by Uganda National Teachers Union. And now the Uganda Local Government Workers Union has joined in to add pressure on government as far as salary enhancement is concerned. But I will start by reading the press release that the Uganda Local Government Workers Union released. That Uganda, and this was on the 1st of July 2022, Uganda Local Government Workers Union, together with other public service labor unions, concluded a collective bargaining agreement 2018 to enhance salaries for all public servants, including local governments, and unfortunately, government partially performed their part and defaulted, and hence the dispute. Now, we have taken all steps to engage government with a view of peacefully resolving this dispute, but all in vain. And a statutory 90 days notice was issued to government as the law requires on 7th April 2022, and it is expiring on 6th July 2022 at midnight. Now, this agreement, that's a collective bargaining agreement that has been stipulated right there, as you see, was meant to address salary disparities within the public service, and yet the members of a local government workers union have the same qualifications, they work the same hours a day, the working process standards and procedures are the same, and above all, as government workers, they go to the same market for food, housing, transport, medical, just to mention a few. That was the press release by the Uganda Local Government Workers Union, talking about how government is supposed to work on salary enhancement. And now, because that the deadline is on 6th July 2022, if government does not come out to pronounce itself on a solution concerning the enhancement, the Uganda Local Government Workers Union and all its members will go in strike. On strike, they will institute an industrial action, and that's very interesting indeed. I continue to say that it seems the collective bargaining agreement has become headache for the government, and maybe they regret having signed that agreement with the different unions in this country, because it seems implementation is becoming a challenge and there are many strikes that are coming up. So that's our issue at hand today. But first, my guest, Mr. Hassan.
Yes.
I want you to take us through when the Uganda Local Government Workers Union started and what the mandate of the Uganda Local Government Workers Union is.
Okay, Uganda Local Government Workers Union was registered in 2006 after the amendment of the Trade Union Act. It was called the Trade Union Decree 2076, which allowed, actually it opened room for civil servants to exercise their freedom of association, collective bargaining, and representation. Because initially, civil servants were not allowed to be members of the union, save for the group employees. So when the law was amended, it created room for all civil servants to register trade unions or to form unions of their own choice, and it included the teachers, the medical people, the scientists, and so many others. So since labor union activity had become sectoral in nature, to make an impact, local government workers found it appropriate and necessary to have a union of their own so that they can assert issues affecting them. Because initially, if you could mix all of them together, you could find that the message would not come out very, very, very clearly. So in 2006, we applied for registration, and we were successful to register Uganda Local Government Workers Union with the mandate of undertaking collective bargaining, to advocate and promote issues affecting workers in local government workers union, and even to represent them on issues affecting their working interests. It includes collective bargaining. Now the law was enacted, public service negotiating machinery, which provided for a public service negotiating council where government, all public service unions could engage government on matters of labor. At that time, we were only 10 registered labor unions in public service, and they were designated under statutory instrument number 56 of 2011, which culminated into the signing of the recognition agreement. A recognition agreement is a document which defines the relationship between the union and the employer, and even defines the procedure of undertaking the mandate. Like if I want to access the working place, how do I do it? What is the notice? What is the number? Or if I want collective bargaining. So that document was signed in 2011. And after signing the recognition agreement, then the parties are allowed to engage themselves into a collective bargaining agreement. Collective bargaining agreement is when one party proposes issues of common interest to the other party, and they convene. So when we proposed to government issues affecting workers, it was the issue of salary disparity, salary discrimination within a public service. Because we had several salary structures within a public service, and yet these people do the same work, and they have the same qualification, the same thing. So we found it very, very demotivating for government to have several salary structures, yet people, when they are recruited, they require the same academic qualifications. And when you enter service, you are required to work for 8 hours, and the working processes, the standards and so on are the same. So we found it is not necessary. So government side is headed by head of public service and secretary to cabinet, and our side were heading the workers' side, the General Secretary, and we engaged in that talk for 8 months, where we found that one, we had to reduce the wage compression ratio. The wage compression ratio is a relationship between the highest and the lowest.
But before we even get into the permutations of the collective bargaining agreement, on the issue of recognition, because this is a story that has been running, especially today in the Daily Monitor, what's the difference between the Uganda Local Government Workers Union and the Allied Workers Union? Because the Allied Workers Union, where the General Secretary, Mr. Benon Matwire, came out to state that this is the actual union that represents government workers when it comes to the local government. Yeah, but I think I don't see whether there is a difference between Ugawa and ULG, because unions are registered under Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and the law defines the requirements of registering a union. The Labour Unions Act, it defines the requirements, which requirements must be complied by the parties applying for registration. So when you meet the requirements and you are registered and another one is registered, then it means that you have all complied and you enjoy the same status as a registered labor union. Now the difference comes on what products are you offering to the members, because a union is a membership organization. You have to influence the members to join your organization depending on the products. Products are services you intend to offer. So, and the law is very clear. It is not the union to choose the members, but it is the members which choose the union. So, and the members to choose the union, it depends on what interest they want to have, whether the union can help them achieve their dreams. Because as you may realize, people don't work for the sake of it. There is a reason why people work. One of them that they want to transform themselves and their family, much as they want also to contribute to the development of their community and the world. So when a union you are in existence, you are competing in a way. So the members will go for a union which is serving their interests. They don't just go that we are going to this union because it is called this and that. So if there is anything to do, it is the members which decide to go to Union A and leave Union B, or to leave Union B and go to Union C. Yeah, so there is no difference. There's no difference. Yeah, there is no difference. This is, we'll keep a pin in that for now, because this is going to become important when it comes to the discussion of the industrial action and how united all local government workers are and unions are when it comes to pushing government to implement this salary increment. But in terms of the collective bargaining agreement, what are the provisions stating when it comes to the local government workers, what was discussed and what is owed to the local government workers? Okay, the public service, the Act provides for the Public Service Negotiating Council, where every union sends 2 representatives, and the government side also send the representative from public service, from finance, from gender, labor, Attorney General's office, and all other sectors. So the law also provides that a union with a peculiar issue can apply for a special negotiation. But this negotiation was not peculiar in the sense that we are all converged in one room, because issues which were affecting workers were actually common issues across the board, not only local government, but all workers, both in ministries, in local government, and statutory bodies. And as you may recognize that Local Government Act Cap 243, I think section 50 something, it said that matters of workers
are matters which are still in the center. So matters of public service, matters concerning workers of local government, apart from casual laborers, they are regulated from the center. So we met as a council, and we concentrated on how to harmonize salary disparities within the public service.
Was that just the Uganda Local Government Workers Union, or was that in alliance with the Allied Workers Union as well? And
No,
other
no,
unions
no.
when it came to that negotiation?
It is not only local government and ULGWU, but even other unions, like we have National Union of Education Institutions, which represent workers, non-teaching staff in public universities. We had the National Teachers Union, UNATU. There was the Uganda Professional University and Academic Staff Workers Union. There was a farm, there was a union for parastatal, there were 10 unions. We all met. There's a National Union of Government and Workers Union. We all met and discussed and came out with that collective bargaining agreement. So after that, we appointed our signatures, and now it depends on how you engage government to implement the agreement in a way to benefit your members. That is where the difference is. That's
true, but take us through some of the provisions in terms of, you're talking about salary disparities.
Yes.
Take us through the provisions that state what kind of salary enhancement some of the local government workers are going to attain from the collective bargaining agreement.
The agreement, incidentally, it is here, but I may not get time to read it. But the government committed itself to make sure that it gives due attention to matters of salary for civil servants, and also undertook to make sure that it reduces the gap between the highest and the lowest, so that that gap is reduced. But also it gave the commitment that salary must be able to address the economic needs of the workers according to the market forces. And that means that the salary should have value in that salary should not be for the sake of it. It should be a salary which has meaningful economic value to the worker, where if a worker gets that salary, is able to meet his economic needs, like the basic needs that a human being needs in life.
So the collective bargaining agreement was signed.
Yes.
And we are now here in the industrial action. Take us through what led to that. Of course, what led to that, like you said, is the failure of implementation when it comes from the government. But what was the plan? We heard about how there was a phased plan to implement the collective bargaining agreement as far as salary enhancement is concerned. Did they institute any of the phases, and how did that lead to now where we are, the Uganda Local Government Workers Union starting an industrial action or restarting an industrial action?
Yeah. Upon conclusion of that agreement, before appending our signature, the government came up with a request that it may not be able to pay all that money at a go, and we also appreciated that reasoning. And we agreed that let it be paid in a phased manner. And in that phased manner, even we categorized the people who were supposed to benefit from phase one, which was actually performed. Little did we know that government is maybe not negotiating in good faith. So after implementing phase one, then they went and slept on their promise. So we kept on reminding. We have even documentary evidence where we could engage them in a meeting, in a writing, and even we have correspondences from their side saying that now there is a grasshopper that there are calamities, there was
the locusts.
Locusts.
And the COVID-19 pandemic.
No, before COVID-19, there was a flood, there was a what. For them, they could jump on any small excuse that could provide itself. So we believed in them, actually not believing, but we gave them benefit of doubt. We were patient until we came to the conclusion that no, as if these people are not ready to implement the agreement. And yet, even within the agreement, there is a provision that either party can apply for review. In the case of any difficulty, you can apply for review and say we are unable to do ABC, which they could have even exploited. But I don't know how they forgot that provision of the agreement. Even they could not take advantage of that. Even when we showed them that this one, why don't you use this clause maybe to apply for review so that we can come and meet and reschedule the implementation of the agreement. But there is a misconception of some leaders within the government that because the government is sovereign, then it has a lot of power, it can use this power, it can arrest, it can tear gas, so they disregarded in hope that they will use the other coercive method, which may not apply to us as organized labor. So
when did the industrial action start? Because from my understanding, this is just a restart of the industrial action.
Yes.
When did it start, and how did that process go with government? Did they respond to the issues that you are raising as pertains to the industrial action? And how do we find ourselves here planning an industrial action on the 6th of July?
Yeah, we have been engaging government, but as you know, government, they have not been open, they have not been honest in their they have been very elusive. Even in the meetings, they could use general terminology which don't commit them. So you find that you are dealing with people who are not ready to promote harmonious industrial harmony. Like one day we had a meeting with the Minister of Public Service and the Minister of Local Government, Finance and Local Government and Attorney General's office. But you could say, even when you said that, okay, you write a statement on what we have agreed, you could see the language that they are using is a language which has intention is to default the agreement. So that's why workers said, you know, they must stand up and tell the world that these people we are dealing with are not honest people.
But yes. why, and as you prepare to get into a quick breather, why is it now that the local government has come up with this strike? Why wait for the teachers? Why it's like you are piggybacking off the confidence that the teachers have exhumed as they carry out this strike and the allied health professionals. How come this strike did not start earlier on? No, I'm telling you that we have documental evidence where we have been writing to government. No, not only teachers, all of us, we have been engaging in government. And we were patient because they could give us this, they said this on next financial year, and you believe in them. But naturally, there is a level when man can lose patience. There is a book written by Edgard where they said that why is it that the massive, it is called adventure, is it adventure, something to do with that. They said, why is it that the masses intervene in everything and their intervention is solely through violence? Then the answer they gave is that the masses intervene through violence because they intervene after losing patience. Yeah, I mean, in most cases, masses don't intervene when they have not lost patience. They wait, you tell them, you think that you are deceiving, you are manipulating, that you were master of playing cards, games and so on, but when they are watching you, you may think that you are smart, but they are not. So by the time they say no, they just saw this guy that we are this and that, they will have lost what? Patience. So now, as far as I'm concerned, it is not only local government workers, all workers of government have lost trust in
in whatever government says, because they know that whatever they say is not what they mean. So what has come out, they want to stand up so that the whole world say that why are those people standing? It is because they have lost confidence in the other people. Why? They don't tell them the truth.
The truth.
Why? They are selfish. They want to, they were interested with the duty to protect the cake for the world, but they are giving a lot to themselves. I see. Yet we are serving the same master, but doing the same work. But when it comes to sharing the cake, the man is cutting everything. It's cutting for himself, and these ones are starving, and they say, no, let us katukube nduru so that everybody can. So why are those people in that house shouting? They say no, they are shouting because the other group has taken all of the food to themselves and left these ones starving. Yeah, whether they get this increment or not, but they want the whole world to know that the people in charge of this country are not fair when it comes to distribution of resources of this country.
Enough is enough. The local government workers have come out to say, and let's go in for a quick breather. But before we do, please know you can be part of this conversation by sending us a message, a WhatsApp message on our WhatsApp line. That's on 0787 447 684, 0787 447 684, and we shall read out your comments and our guest shall reply to your queries. Now let's go in for a quick breather. This is Issues at Hand.
Issues at Hand on Good Morning Family.
Issues at Hand on Good Morning Family and on Church of Uganda Family TV, and we are very, very glad indeed to have you join us today. And we are talking about the industrial action that has been instituted by the Uganda Local Government Workers Union. They have said enough is enough. We are no longer going to work until government does something concerning our salary enhancement. And my guest today is Mr. Hassan Mudiba, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Local Government Workers Union. You are very welcome. Please feel free to send us a message on our WhatsApp line. That's on 0787 447 684, and we shall read out your comments and queries. But my guest, Mr. Hassan, you have taken us through the journey as far as this industrial action is concerned. And you've told us why it started. The government has failed to keep their end of the bargain as far as implementation of this agreement was concerned. But what are the discussions that the union has been having with government, and what has been government's response to your requests as far as this salary enhancement and implementation is concerned?
What is the question? I have not.
What has there been any government intervention? You've told us that you have been getting out seeking response from government, and what were some of the things that government has said during those conversations? Have they responded to your requests as far as the enhancement is concerned, as far as implementation of the collective bargaining agreement is concerned?
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. The government intervention in this area of industrial relationship has been big, in that we can start from the time of the Constitution, when provisions of the Constitution accommodated recognition of workers' right to associate, to join union, to form collective bargaining and representation, which we appreciate. We have several articles of the Constitution specifically talking about workers' rights and even guaranteeing those rights within the Constitution, which is a good point. Then also from there are several legislation that have been made to effect provisions of the Constitution, and which we also appreciate. Like we have several labor laws, more than 6 labor laws that have been made to protect workers' rights, and even the employment policy also guarantees workers' rights, and the other statutory instruments. There are so many. Actually, if you are to do legal audit on government on matters of workers' rights in this country, Uganda can take over a reasonable percentage. The challenge we have is the implementation.
Is the implementation.
Yeah,
and then on that...
But as far as the other steps, the constitutional framework, the legal framework, the policy framework, all it we have been working on.
Government has a T.
But
like we have seen, Uganda National Teachers Union has had conversations with President Museveni, has had conversations with the Vice President and with different ministries concerning the industrial action and what they want in terms of salary enhancement. Has the Uganda Local Government Workers Union had these conversations? Who have you had them with concerning this salary enhancement, and what have they said in terms of people who are from government?
I think in Uganda, government to recognize you must first strike. Yeah, because for us, we thought as local government workers, let us be civil in our approach, let us be law-abiding and so on. So, and others are striking, then you find that more attention is given to people who are striking than people who are using official methods of raising their issues. Actually, that is why we said, I think the language which the political leadership of this country understand is industrial action. If you want to be attended to, if you want to get a call from a commissioner of government or minister or everybody, you must unaddress yourself in public. If you think that you are going to use the civil methods where you can get a pen and communicate to an authority, then that one is disregarded. So that's why you'll find that local government workers are the only sector, is the only sector which has not faced industrial action. Why? We thought and actually believed that let us do our work. Actually, even on top of the official mandate of local government, there are other additional responsibilities that have been added on local government workers. Like, is it surgery? There is the Dr. TD, so many, including the policy development model. They add so many responsibilities with additional funds, but without adding the remuneration part. And we have been undertaking that with the hope that the authority will appreciate it and think in it themselves and consider us to our dismay. Our employers not taken that path. He has continued with that approach of recognizing the groups which take conventional approach, and then we said, okay, if that is the way to go, let us also.
So government has disregarded your requests in terms of salary enhancement?
Yeah, because we don't strike. Actually, they are not attending to local, because it is only local government which has been saying, let us listen to you, and we listen. Let us listen to day 1, day 2, day 3. We raise our issues to them in writing. They recognize, they reply, but they don't act, simply because maybe we don't strike. So we said, okay, if the language which these people understand is strike, is leaving the office open, then let us apply that approach. And it is not only local government, even so many sectors which are going to join, because one is that we believe that our government wants people who strike. Our government is selective in its approach, and we don't want a government which has as if it is dealing with serving a few selected minority, and yet they want the entire population to be active. So we have to remind them, actually our strike is also to remind them that this is a massive government which is in government on the power of the vote, and it is not only the few who are voting you in power. All of us, we are voting, and I think we have a duty to work, and we have a duty to be rewarded for the work.
Definitely, definitely. And talking about the industrial action, there's a famous statement that says, "United we stand, divided we fall." Now, this is just
forever.
Exactly, solidarity forever. But going back to the discussion we're having about the Uganda Local Government Workers Union and the Allied Workers Union, the General Secretary, that's Mr. Benon Matwire, today in the Daily Monitor stated that this press release by the Uganda Local Government Workers Union must be disregarded. So if there are some local government workers who are going on strike and others are not, does it look like this industrial action is being carried on shaky grounds?
I don't think so, and I think members will decide either to go with Matwire's opinion, because for Matwire thinks that our workers demanding for their due right is wrong. They shouldn't. And I don't think that is his thinking, and I don't know why, because yesterday I talked with him, and I hope he's going to withdraw that statement, because it is betrayal. He has members whom we claim to be representing, and we are saying he appended decision on the agreement. Now, what is wrong with some? They say, you pay these people. And if they are paying, they are not going to pay only my member, they are going to pay other members. Like we have nurses union, we have another scientist. Local government has both science and non-science. So now if science or nurses pursue an issue, I cannot come and attack. I will keep quiet, because I know if they achieve, even my members are going to benefit. So if my brother Matwire, but we agreed, I don't want even to discuss it here, that his approach was caused in the fear that a local government is going to take all of his members. And I clarified to him that no, I'm not going to take your members. For me, I want all workers to benefit, no matter where they belong. Whether they belong to local government or they can leave local government, I don't mind. But what I want is the workers' salary to be enhanced as per the agreement. Actually, I'm not looking at the membership side. I want the government to undertake its part of the bargain.
So it's therefore the prayer of your members that hopefully you can find a solution so that both unions can work together to be on the same page concerning this industrial action.
Precisely.
Because like we have seen with the teachers, there's an umbrella body for science teachers, yes. Then UNATU is standing together with arts teachers. Yes. That division is not going to produce much fruit.
It doesn't.
You need to go to government in a united front.
Force, yes.
So the question is then, what are you going to do to work together with different unions to make sure that it's a united front going to government?
We are in contact. We are in contact, but also you cannot rule out yellow unions, because yellow union does not mean this year of NRM. It is a term used by trade unions all over the world, where a trade union is registered specifically to undermine the cause of the workers. But in most cases, those unions collapse all over the world, because the moment the workers realize that your intention is to undermine their cause, then they will isolate you. Yeah, and that is how we have been dealing with the yellow unions. We don't waste time with them, because we know them by their actions, and the moment the actions show that you are brought in to undermine the workers' cause, then the workers will deal with you. Yeah, and no yellow union has survived all over the world. I have so many cases to cite, not only in Uganda.
Hopefully, you can work together with the Allied Workers Union to push forward this industrial action. So the question now is, what now? Where do we go from here? And what would you like government to do? What is the plan? Is the Local Government Workers Union going to meet with any ministry officials to ensure that there is a solution to this? Because like you've seen in the case of the teachers, our children are not studying, they are not going to school, and we also need the local government workers to do their work, especially since, like you rightly said, we have projects like the parish development model that require the effective work of local government workers.
Yeah, first of all, we have We are talking with Benon Matwire, ULGWU. Actually, the Secretary General of NATO, we are having a meeting with Matwire and me in NATO tomorrow morning to agree on the way forward. And there is no problem with that one because we have worked with Benon for so many years. Maybe his major fear was that we are taking all of his members by this approach. But we have told no. For us, even if your members get salary enhancement, we shall not compel them to leave the union where they are. Let them remain where they are. And you join us and we tackle this front, which we agreed with him on the phone yesterday. And we agreed that tomorrow we are going to meet in Nutu and to chat way forward, and I hope we shall move together. Then too, I got a letter from Madam Catherine Bitalakwate regarding the postponement of the meeting, which was meant for Friday first, and promised that they are going to get back to us. We are waiting for that negotiation, and our commitment to dialogue is open and we are not doubted. So we are still waiting that government should take this chance. The remaining 2 days, it can make wonders. We can agree, we can concede to one another.
But the question is the feasibility of what and going back to government's stance. The question is the feasibility when it comes to what government is going to do, because now everyone is asking for an enhancement, and yet the national budget has already been released, it has been passed. So the question is, where are we going to get all this money to enhance all these salaries for us teachers and now for local government workers? And going back to feasibility and the practicability, what as the local government workers union do you think is the best way forward? Do you think government can come up with a supplementary budget? Because you can understand that the pressure is too much on them to enhance all these salaries at once.
First of all, you cannot tell a local government worker or any worker in Uganda that government doesn't have money. And government should stop saying that. Nobody will believe in them. When you have evidence that they are throwing 40 million to people who have not even asked for it. Somebody is paid money, almost 50 million. Then you call him at night, give 50 million, you give 30 million, you give this one, and so do that type of unexplained expenditure. So anything the government can say, any other reason we can listen, but not that one or that they don't have money. At least that one, we are not ready to listen to that. Let them give any other reason, but not that one of money. When there is evidence that they are calling people, a councillor from one parish, you give 30 million. You are paying a driver who did the O-level and the driving permit, 7 million. But a graduate who studied for more than, has a master's degree, you are giving 700,000, and you said you don't have money? No, that one we shall not accept. But we are willing to listen to government. Let us meet anytime. But in case they don't come, of course, we shall not change our position. Come 6 midnight, local government workers are laying down their tools. After which, in case they come for negotiation, we shall go and listen to them. If they deceive, we shall know that they are deceiving. If they tell the truth, we shall know that they are telling the truth. The moment they say the truth, even when they have laid the truth, workers will go back to. Those teachers refuse to go back. They know that what the government is telling is not the truth. By the way, even those who are working with the government, they are our workers and they are our allies. Even the inner secrets, we get them. So if you are coming to tell the lie, by the time you come to take your seat before us, we will have got information that one I said that let me go and tell these people like this. Yeah, that is what, but if they say the truth, I'm telling you, even today, the problem will be resolved. But if they continue with that type of approach, which they are not recognize.
But on that note, again, for me, and this is a challenge that I have sometimes with when it comes to implementation of certain budgets and finances in this country. The question is, as a union, how practical do you think it is? Like you've said, you don't want to hear that government has no money.
No, that one they
But
should
do you
not
think
try.
they can come up with a supplementary budget? What are some of the solutions you want to give to them concerning where they can get this money to give this enhancement?
Now government should show commitment that they have realized that they made any error in discriminating the salary. The moment they do, it is a remedy and a relief to the worker. If they acknowledge their mistake, that it is an error, and we are ready to work out a method which will correct this mess. That's a good way now. Then from there can be discussed.
Okay, and like you said, the Uganda Local Government Workers Union is ready to go that distance. You will not be moved. Like the teachers, you will not be moved until the salary enhancement is guaranteed. Thank you so much for sending in your questions and your comments. We have them right here, and he is going to respond to them. Here I have a comment from Chiwanuka Clement, who is from Kabowa. He asks, is the Ministry of Public Service enslaved in its own prison? Why is the union avoiding dialogue with the ministry?
Union avoiding dialogue? How? How are we avoiding dialogue? I'm saying, the other day, they invited us for a meeting to public service. We went there, then they have postponed it indefinitely. We have not avoided the dialogue. But we want a meaningful dialogue where people discuss honestly and in good faith and implement what we have agreed.
Maybe it's the Ministry of Public Service that is avoiding dialogue. It's the other way around.
Maybe that one.
And then Sylvia Mukisa from Muyenga says, according to the law, the salary structures are clear. So why is President Museveni handling state matters like a home affairs in his backyard? A very hot question coming from Sylvia Mukisa from Muyenga.
I can't comment because I'm not even a spokesperson of His Excellency the President.
That's true. That's true. And I support the local civil servants' industrial action against government. Let them also feel the pain of the Omuntu Wawansi. Someone is supporting you. This is Insereko Juma from Kagoma. Okay, saying that they support you and you are not alone. They also want government to feel the pinch of the Omuntu Wawansi.
Thank you very much, Insereko.
And then Awuma Miriam from Chisasi says the financial situation in the country is unbearable. Is it because we have no Bank of Uganda governor?
Could be, I don't know.
Some of these questions are very dangerous for us to respond to, but that's yes, Awuma also asking why the financial situation in the country is untenable. And of course, just to add to that point, according to what you've just mentioned, even in the the press release, as local government workers, the situation in terms of economy is also affecting you. You pay that, like it said, you pay the same amount of, you buy the same food, go to the same markets, receive the same medical services, and that's why local government workers are trying hard to get this enhancement so that we can all have a fair shake of the cake, like you are saying, a fair taste, and we can all find ways of striving and of fighting back this economic hardship. So I agree there with Awuma. Now the president is meeting United today at Kololo. Yet another scam to spend billions on this irrational meeting. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. Now, this is Margaret Musungu from Rubaga, who is very skeptical about this meeting, saying that, yeah, they are meeting to discuss these issues, but it's just another scam to spend billions of shillings. And I hope this does not also extend to the meetings that the Uganda Local Government Workers Union may have with His Excellency or any other ministry official. And then who is behind all these industrial actions? Isn't this a deliberate government move to use unions to divert us from the real issues affecting the country? This is from Kalema Matthew, who is from Chambogo. Please, Mr. Hassan, are you a proponent of government? Are you being used to divert us from the real issues?
Actually, if there is anybody who cannot be used, are the workers and the mass group. The mass group, even if they love you so much, the moment they discover that you are not attending to their interests, they part with you. That is the good thing with our members. Nobody can influence the workers in a given direction when they are not interested. Yeah, so this one is a situation which is real. Everybody knows that there is salary discrimination within Uganda, and people have been complaining about it for so many years. People have done a lot of research. This guy, Professor Augustus Lwabayi, this one, yeah, he has been commenting and he has been writing so many documents for like 10 years about salary discrimination. And the other professors have been commenting on those things. So, as I have said, that when the masses intervene, they intervene through violence. Why? After losing patience. All of these years, we have been waiting, we have been listening, and so on. So the time for listening has ceased. Now, the language which the workers are going to use from now onwards until the problem is solved is strike.
So, what is your final?
And nobody is saying that is influencing workers. Nobody can influence workers. Nobody.
That's true. Maybe what can influence workers is the economy, and that's why these workers are being influenced towards an industrial action. What's your final remark on this? What do you want our viewers to take away concerning the planned strike coming from the local government workers?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bruno, for this opportunity, and I appeal to government first of all to utilize this chance so that we can serve the world, because all of the promises that even the manifesto of the sitting government are implemented by workers. Actually, the transformation itself which government promises the voters is done by local government workers. Yeah, so it would be very irrational and lack of sensitivity if government think that it can solve this matter without engaging the workers directly. So I would advise and encourage the government to take heart, to throw the pride and sit down with the workers. This thing will be averted. But if they think that they are going to use other methods, even army will not avert this situation. So as far as we are concerned, for us, if the dialogue fails, if the dialogue is denied the chance, then we have no option but to proceed with the industrial action on the 6th midnight of July 2022 until further notice. Thank you. And I appeal to my members, we are still strong. We are still willing to work as much as we are willing, but we are being frustrated by our appointing authority. And we cannot starve ourselves to death on account of being seen as good people. Actually, there is even a saying that a reasonable man can be both happy and unhappy. Yeah, if you are unhappy, you express it. If you are happy, you express it. So now we are standing up to express our discontent and disapproval of government efforts to discriminate and promote nepotism within the working class. It is very dangerous. It is not serving any purpose. It is counterproductive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hassan Lwabayi Mudiba, for coming on issues at hand today and for taking us through the industrial action that might be coming up on the 6th of July at midnight from local government workers. That was a very, very, very enriching indeed. Talking about enriching, here on Church of Uganda Family TV, we are big on family, and our goal is to enrich lives, especially when it comes to family. So our call is to employers that if you're an employer, your employees are your family. Think about if your family did not have food, if you don't take food to your family, if you don't provide shelter, clothing for your family. That's the same thing with workers, that if you're not giving your workers basic necessities and salary enhancements, or a dignified salary that can enable them take care of their families, then indeed you are doing a disservice to them. So this is a call from us to employers to ensure that their employees, that your employees are well taken care of. This is Issues at Hand with me, Bruno Edgard. God richly bless you.
The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of this television or its management, but as of individuals as we hear them. Family TV, enriching lives.